pretty much all you need to pull this bike apart. Obviously I've used some of the stuff for the wiring, but for actually taking the panels off and for taking the seat off and a few other bits, this is it, that's all you need. And that's what happens to your poor Harley when you buy a Spyder. Thing hasn't left the garage in weeks, meaning to do a derby cover on it that I got from the States. Yeah, but poor thing just sits there now, because all I want to do is ride my Spyder. So anyway, we'll start by pulling off some of these panels, and what we're going to take off is the top, the clocks, the centre top fairing, these two side panels, left and right, the lower ones. We'll take the seat off as well, and then we'll go through, take the front battery bay out. Also this nose cone comes off as well, or leans forward, so you'll see that too in a bit. Side panel time. Actually really easy to get off. It's just there's 3 of those scrivet type bolts at the top. There's 2 bolts down here, and then there's 2 that go on this bottom piece here. The other thing is, up at the front there's a little piece in there which this end just slips into and pops into. Taking off these scrivets, there's a tool you can get that goes underneath there and pops them out. They do tell you in the manual you can use a flat bladed screwdriver. The problem with that is this gap's really small, and if you use a flat bladed screwdriver it can tend to leave marks, and they don't look too good the next time you come to fit them back in. So to take out these scrivets, you just put the knife or the tool underneath and just give it a twist, and you'll see the centre pop out. Give it a pull and go underneath. Try not to mark your panels, and then give it a twist, and the outer will come out as well. Once they've flexed a little bit, they tend to come out fairly easy. And then there's the 2 pieces. But this front one here, it's actually a nut and bolt, and it's very hard to get to the nut. So the nut sits through in there, and you have to go end on in with a 10mm to get on it. You can't get on it sideways because of the shape of the trim, and then just obviously all the bolts in there. This is a screw, and then these are all bolts. We've got to pull this nose fairing down. So it's 2 little screws, one either side. Take them off and then just unclip this, and down at the bottom there's just a screw or a bolt there that you've got to just loosen off. Okay, next job is clock removal. Real easy. 4 screws. Pop the screws out, pull the clocks forward, there's your cable connector. Simple. Okay, the next step, we have a bunch of bolts here. This part's actually in the owner's manual, because you need to do this to take the headlights out, or to change the headlights. But what they don't tell you is that, as you'll see later on under this panel, there's some wiring clips that make life really difficult. So they just go in through here. No real biggies here, other than there's a little cable connector there that goes through that hole, which is a little bit difficult to get off. You have to undo all this, raise it up, and then get underneath and just compress it a little bit so you can get that clip out. So a couple of pieces to take off here before you can take off that nose panel. There's a piece here, it's just a couple of clips in there, and that just pops out of this area here. If you put it in the right way around, that just pops into there. Then there's 2 wires here. I presume these are for USB power or something for these 2 blanks. So the wiring's actually there. Be interesting to see if there's any actual power to those wiring. I might do that a bit later on. So these things just plug into 2 blanks on the back of there. When that's on, to get it off, it's a simple, you can see the quarter turn. It's not even a quarter turn, so you just turn that bezel, pull it out, pull this out, and then pop off that central piece there. Okay, so now we've got all the fasteners out of this top console piece. It's actually quite easy to take out. You just need to give it a bit of a bend on the front until that tab comes out, and then take it forward. Now this actually was quite difficult to do, not because of the way this is attached, but because of the way the wires are attached. For some reason these have attached the wires to these 4 lugs, so you can see those connectors there. Daft thing to do, because it makes this panel really difficult to get off. There's not a lot of pulling those wires, so to save me from having the same problem again, I'm not going to connect these. I'll put this one, which is for the clocks, back onto it, but these are the ones, there's no way in God's green earth I'm going to put them back onto that. Otherwise next time I come to take it off I'm going to have exactly the same problem. Now on the whole, this bike is really well put together. Everything's well connected, pretty much everything is solid. There's nothing that makes me worry about, you know, what's going to happen in the future. One exception though is this panel. If you want to take off this panel, it's bolted from the back, and then this panel is held secure by the panel at the top. When you look down there, there's just, you know, absolutely no room to get to those bolts. So unless they've just done it to persecute people with small sausage fingers like me, I can't for the life of me figure out why they've done that. There may be an easy way to do it, but for the purpose of this, I don't need these panels off. I can do everything I want to do with these panels on. I would have just liked to pull these 2 off to give you a good look at the bike. But even with those 2 on, you can see there the fuel tank, you can see all the connectors, all waterproof connectors, standard connectors, so you can buy them from any shop, which is good. All your water lines are all secured. Every cannon plug is in it at a solid location. Oh, it's really well put together, very impressed by it. Well, that's because it's Bombardier, so they're used to building aircraft, so they're pretty good on their old design. There's probably an easy way, but as I say, I don't need to do it for this video. As you can see here, the computer's on the side, or tucked underneath this side panel. These side panels were really easy to get off. So once you've got the bike down to this stage, it's pretty easy now. I'm assuming that the Euro mod is this wire here. You can see the wire coming to the light that is used for Europe and Australia, and there's a blanked off, capped off wire at the top. So I'm presuming that's the low beam for your main headlight. Now if you come through and look at the connector for the main headlight, which is down here, you can see that there's only a high beam connector, so there's no low beam connector in there. So it seems that that wire has just been stripped out for the Euro and Australia models. So what we need to do is find a positive source. Now the easy thing would be to put a pin in here. You can buy the pin kits. Here's a set of the pin kits. Take the blank out and put a pin in, put a wire through to the headlight. Assuming that is correct, you'd have to test that first. I'm concerned about warranty, so I'm not going to do that. Luckily, what Canon do is they provide you with these PowerPoints, user accessory PowerPoints. Now there's 3 of them. There's one here, one in the side panel, and one in the front underneath this bay. I'm going to use that to power the low beams, so they come on with the ignition, and that way I don't have any worries with the warranty. So that's the plan anyway. So once you've got all your screw bits out, there's 4 of them. Once you've got them out, you can just pull out this box, this tray liner. We're running out of space rapidly in the garage to put any of this stuff, but never mind. So in there you've got your battery, you've got your fuse boxes, you've got everything there that you need electrically, and you've also got your customer accessories connection as well, which I haven't actually found yet, but it's in here somewhere. So I've decided to use the mid customer accessory circuit. So this is the wire here. It's just tie wrapped onto the loom, and there's a little tag there that says customer accessory circuit, so you know which one to use. So it's just a case of cut that tie wrap and put the wires from there just to go to this point there and this point here on the other side. So easy job. I'll get to that now. As you can probably see by the state of the garage, I'm a little bit of a hoarder, so I was lucky to have one of these lying around. But if you're down, just pop down to your auto store and you can pick up a headlight connector block. The headlight bulbs are wider than just the standard flat, and these have got the same clip on them as the ones on the bike. So it's just a simple case of just popping a screwdriver down into the gap there, and then popping the lock off, and then sliding the wire out the back. So that'll give you your wires for your low beams. Okay, so this is our completed wire. So you can see I've got the two ends on there, just crimped. Put a bit of heat shrink on to turn it to one wire, and then obviously the male fitting on the piece that's not got power. And then the female connectors there, and as you can see I've put a second connector on, that's so as I can power the LED, the underbike LED that'll be fitting a bit later on. So it's time to connect all up and give it a test. Okay, that's the wires connected. Bit of general advice, it's not necessarily Spyder specific, and I don't know if it would make any difference with the Spyder, but some bikes don't like it if you fire them up with the electronic clocks disconnected, and can cause error messages. You can see there you've got the cable is connected. Now we're now popped into the low beam connection on both lights. Luckily Bombardier or Can-Am, sorry, they put proper headlight bulbs in that have got both a high and low beam, so you don't need to change the bulbs. So bit of a test, everything's connected. Make sure your spare line's clear, nothing's off that should be on, nothing's touching any of your accessory connectors there, and then whack some power on. And we have no lights. Okay, silly me, a little bit of user error. The 18C's temperature, it's not an error message. Don't know why I jumped to that conclusion, probably just worried I was going to do some damage. And the accessory circuit doesn't come on until the engine's running. So if we power it off, fire up the engine once we've cancelled the nanny message. You can see we have low beam. So all is good. We have our low beams, so we can tie wrap all the wires in, and look at putting the lower LED lights in. So what we've got now is the headlights doing low beam, and we've got the ice blues in the grille. Now the accessory circuit doesn't fire up until the bike's running, so I'll have to kick the bike over. But the bike's a bit of a nanny state as well. You'd have to push a button to say that you've read the safety instructions every single time you start it. It's a bit annoying, but not to worry. Now we've turned the engine off. That's what it was like before, just those two lights on. And they are bright and you can see where you're going, but I think it spoils the look of the bike a bit. Alright, well thanks a lot for watching, and happy riding.